Hey, what's happening, everyone? I am the Dragon God of Gaming, Damian Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of the Gaming News, where I run down the list of all the gaming news, facts, rumors, trivias, and everything coming out the gaming industry this week. And this week, we are talking about Bandai Namco. And oh my fucking god, more layoffs. Jeez, why? So we're just gonna get into this. If you guys want to see something from Bandai Namco, um, you know what? I have a game for you guys. So enjoy the game regardless of what it is. And let's get started. Let's just jump right in, shall we? This is coming from Forbes.com. And this is written by Ollie Barter. So if you guys want to go and talk and see what his stuff is, by all means, go ahead and check it out. And also down in the description, you guys can see the whole article so you guys can read and have fun for yourselves. So let's just get right into it. Following the massive layoffs across the gaming industry, Bandai Namco is now the latest to be affected as it has canceled various projects impacting its staff. According to Bloomberg, Bandai Namco has canceled a variety of gaming projects, from Naruto to One Piece and even something with Nintendo. These project cancellations will also have an impact on Bandai Namco staffing, with layoffs or their equivalent to be expected. Bandai Namco is also the first major Japanese games company to be impacted by this kind of typically Western budgetary downsizing, which likely means it won't be the last. Unlike Western game companies, Japanese employment law makes laying permanent staff off quite difficult, so people will be effectively asked to leave. It's, as I've explained previously, which we haven't seen yet, much of what is driving these game industry layoffs is due to excessive game budgets over the last decade. Exactly. With most large games taking 7 to 8 years to make, and it means we are only beginning to see the results of this budgetary overspend now. The follow on from all this is that all the game studios in Japan that were working with these publishers are now also affected. However, as downsizing isn't feasible due to previously mentioned Japanese employment law, many studios will likely just go bankrupt. The result will be the same, though: lots of game developers out of work and no money in publishing to create new studios, resulting in a massive loss of institutional knowledge and creative expertise across the Japanese game industry. Again, because of the lead time for game development, we won't be seeing tangible results from all of this for a good few years. That means if Bandai Namco isn't the only Japanese game publisher facing cutbacks, then gaming as a medium is going to have a rough time over the next decade. And I kind of have to agree with that. Look, I understand that projects are not cheap. Far from it. They are far from cheap. There is no way to cheaply make a game like that, except if you're an indie game studio. But with people buying up so much shit nowadays, and like, if you make a hit and you're an indie game studio, there's a bunch of people that just want to buy you out. No, that's not. We don't want that. The thing is, we've seen that we can have masterpieces that fly under the whole $70 to $80, 7 to 8 year span gaming juggernauts. I'm sorry, but that's just the case. Take a good look at games like Undertale. It was nowhere near a quick development cycle for Toby Fox, but for fuck's sake, it was quicker than what we're getting now. But I can very much agree that games are getting just as much um budget to spend than any other thing in like almost any other thing. It's as close to movies as it could possibly get in terms of budget. And I think with that comes along with, people are trying to make it perfect. But the thing is, even with games that are supposed to be like hundreds of millions of dollars. Look at Concord. I'm sorry, but that shit was trash, and it really was. And they're still trying to revive that shit. And they're still doing it because apparently it's still getting updates. I'm not going to be talking about that because Lord have mercy. I think I've talked enough about Concord. One video is enough on Concord. But what I can personally say is, from what I've seen in the game industry, I take looks and stuff, and even hundreds of millions of dollars in a budget does not equate to a good fucking game. The one game we can personally say that's taken this about 8 to 9 years that has, the hype and more than likely will be a fucking masterpiece is GTA 6. There is no doubt. And with something like Sparking Zero, which I don't know how long it was in development. I can't say that for a certainty. Can't tell you how long it was it was in development for because that one I personally don't know. Know what? We can personally check that real quick. Hold on. How long was the GBZ Sparking Zero game in development? How long? How long? 5 years. So half a decade. So 5 years, not 8 to 9, 5 years for a game that fucking good. And that actually, to be honest, we're talking about next time. So a little bit of a spoiler alert, and it's something that's going to be special to me. So I want to take this is the first time I'm going to give everybody a spoiler alert on what the next gaming news is going to be because I need something good to talk about for that episode. And you'll understand why once it comes out next week. But, well, if it may be the next one, let me just say that because I'm not sure how everything is going to be working. So we'll figure it out together. But in general, what I can personally say is overspending means nothing. How much it is in the budget means fucking nothing. There are some people that do this shit for free and do this shit because they love the fucking medium and it comes out to be a masterpiece. But also, it's also that there are games with hundreds of millions of dollars behind it that also flop like a motherfucker. And it's tragic. It really is tragic. And that's because the game industry, some people in the game industry just doesn't fucking listen to the fans. They really do not. I'm sorry, but we are the ones spending on your games. We're telling you exactly what we want, and you're basically taking a massive shit on us. That's and that is not to a lack of trying here. We are trying to, compromise with studios and shit like that. We are trying our best, but there is no full on way of dealing with it. We're trying to help you guys out, and you just ain't listening to us. Take a look at Sony. I'm sorry. I love myself PlayStation. I really do. I own PlayStations. I love PlayStations. But look at, the leaked footage of the Great Web, and they say they didn't do that over, because they wanted to do something a lot more better that's worth their time. And what they produced was Madam fucking Web. We're telling you we want to see it, and you just don't fucking listen to us. So and you're just leaving money on the damn table at that point. So what I'm just saying is this. For all developers, we do not need $100 million games. We really do not. We want original ideas too. We do not need like all this, fancy shit. And people are doubting games. And some of these things also come from our point of view as well. As the players who actually play these games, hold on a minute. Give me one moment. Sorry about that. My fan was making some really freaking weird noises. Anyway, in general, what I can personally say is, on our behalf, as the people who play these games, we are also largely at fault. We are judging and prejudging games before they even come out. I don't say nothing in forums or spaces because There's nobody that likes to listen. Really, they're just going to fight you regardless. I don't care to even get into a fucking debate with people in random forums because there is no way of just listening. Take a look at the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, or sorry, the the follow up to Ghost of Tsushima, which is called Ghost of Yotai, and people are prejudging it based on the voice actor and basically that it's not Jin who is going to be the protagonist. And I'm just like, before we even tried it, we're shitting on it because it's not Jin. There is a lot of games that are follow-ups that have different characters, but yet you're clowning on this one because it's a woman. And I've seen that argument. It's a girl. It's not Jin. It's not a girl. It's sorry. It is a girl. And I'm just like, why are you judging based on it's a girl? And I'm just it. A good part of me, just a part of my soul died when I seen some of those comments. I really did. It really did. And I'm like, I understand what some of the voice actresses past is. I don't care. I care about the end result for the game. That's what I care about. I care about how the game is. I care about how the game progresses. I don't give a fuck about the voice actor. If you ain't in Dragon Ball, I do not give a fuck. I don't care. As long as you sound like the character, if you're in Dragon Ball, I do not care who plays them, as long as you're faithful to that character. I do not care how the voice actor is. I care that the game is good. I care that the game is playable. I care that the game does well. I care that when I play it, I love the experience. And people are prejudging it based on who the character is and who the character is not. Jin is an amazing character. Jin is the face of Ghost of Tsushima. This is not the follow up to the story. It's a sequel set thousands of years later. And it bothers me, and it really does bother me, because people prejudge this game and prejudge games before they even fucking play it. And that's why I say I reserve my judgment until I play the game. I reserve any sort of criticism until I play the game and I can give out my personal experience. I don't prejudge based on, trailers, teasers, and shit like that. Because a teaser can be looking miraculous. And then when the game comes out, it looks like fucking cheeks. But that's the problem. We can't judge based on screenshots. We can't judge based on teasers. Either we play the game and judge it for ourselves, or we shit on it, it gets canceled, and we never know. What's the point? We want to see this game series, this game franchise move forward. Let it fucking cook, because very soon we may actually get the game that everyone wants. The Ghost of Tsushima 2. This is something different right now. Let it cook. Let the game cook. And that's the problem. It's a problem on both ends of the spectrum. We are not blameless, but the studios are not blameless either. It's a piece of everyone's fucking fault. We judge before the game even comes out. And that is the problem. What I'm just trying to say is this. As a fan of the gaming community, as a fan of gaming in general, I ask that everybody, please stop prejudging games. Yeah, you can voice your opinion on how you think it is, but don't immediately come to a fucking conclusion before you even tried out the game. Don't say it's going to be dog water, so don't even bother playing it. If that's you, then why are you in the space? Why are you even talking about it? You already made up your mind. Why are you even talking about it? You're not even going to give the game a chance to show that it's going to be good. Never mind trying to convince you otherwise. This is why I hate people in spaces like that, because they act like they're this overseer of these games and like, no, you're not. You are hurting these games more than you're trying to help. I think I'm going off on tangents, but understand that it's hurting the gaming community. This whole budgetary thing, the budget doesn't matter. It's the art. And some studios just don't get that. Yeah, there are some games that take a long time to develop, and I understand that. But at that point where your mind is sitting at, we do not need $100 million games. Lower the fucking budget and work on the art. It doesn't matter about fucking hyping and shit like that, because no matter how much you hype the game, if the game is dog shit on release, no one cares. That's the point, what we're trying to make. And as for gamers, prejudging games before the fucking game even comes out it is unfair on our part either. Let the games cook. Let's see what we got. I've judged games before, but I judge them based on my experience with the game. I judge part of my experience when I like a franchise, I will buy it and I will see how I feel about it. I don't care about the teasers. I don't care about how we feeling about it. I don't care. I care about my personal experience. That's what we all should be caring about. The experience that we're sharing. Not everyone else is online. Don't be going off and saying something. Don't be going off and looking at other people saying, oh, it's going to be dog water. Don't even bother playing it. If that's there, let that be their opinion. Let them follow. Let your decision and your personal process do the talking for you. But what I'm just trying to say is this: if you haven't even tried the game, don't say anything until you played it. You can give your opinions, of course. Everyone's entitled to that, but do not come to a full ass conclusion and tell people that it's not even going to be worth buying the damn game because you are not them. You are you. If you do not want to purchase the game, don't purchase the game. But also, don't ruin everyone else's expectations for the game because you feel like you're right. You could be possibly right, you could be possibly wrong, but that's a gamble that everyone's trying to take, and that's not a gamble that everyone wins. People always have said stuff about that shit in the past, and guess what? It's been a really fucking good game. That's why we have hidden gems, because people prejudge and then do not try it out. You see the problem, right? But in general, what I can personally say is this: there's a lot of blame to be passed around, and there's a lot of blame that needs to be put on a lot of people. But on both sides, we can be the problem. The studios can be the problem. Lord knows that they can be the problem. Overspending does not mean a good game. Hundred millions of dollars in a game does not equate to a good game. Passion and thought and listening to the community as well as implementing things that people want to see in some of these games show that support. Shit can be fixed. Shit can be done right. But it takes all of us together to make these games good. Not prejudging before the game even comes out, giving some of these games a chance. Yada yada yada. You see what I point? Hundreds of millions of dollars were put into Concord. Everyone hated the game. Everyone stopped buying it. That's where that is. It doesn't matter how much money you put into it. If the game is ass, the game is ass. You can't play it. Yada yada yada. That's cut and dry right there. But also some of the biggest budget games you could possibly say could give you hours upon hours of pure joy. You see what I mean? That's what I'm saying. You do not need hundreds of millions of dollars for budgeting, and we do not need to be sitting there and criticizing shit before its life cycle even started. This is where shit falls apart for all of us. So please, if you're going to be sitting there and criticizing games, at least try the game out first before you give yourself into the whole entire opinion. If it's not the opinion for you, it's not the opinion for you. It's not the game for you. It's not the game for you. You can give your opinions. Everyone's entitled to their opinions, and you can say your opinions. But do not encourage people not to play the game because you feel that way. Say, try it out for yourself. I don't feel like I'm going to be trying it out, but everyone can make their own opinions. That's why I don't give people an opinion on say, hey, go buy this game, go buy this game, go buy this game. No, because there's no need. Because you can only make that opinion for yourself. You can only make that judgment for yourself. And as for the gaming industry in general, this gross overspending is not even needed. It's not wanted, nor is it absolutely a whole thing that needs to be done. There are games with hundreds of millions of dollars less in budgeting that has done absolute wonders. And then there are games with all those millions of dollars put into it that's absolute fucking ass. So we do not need these $100 million 10-year cycle games because even games that have been worked on for a very long time can just be awful when you look at it. But hey, that's just my thought process. And again, as for the whole Ghosts of Yotai thing, what I think everyone should be doing is giving it at least a chance to see what we can see what comes out of it. It may be a genuinely good fucking game. Let's try it out. And if you don't want to, that's all on you. You can you can do what you want to do. That's all fine. I'm not going to tell you to play a game that you don't want to play. But reserve your thought process until you see the game in full. Reserve your judgment on a game before you play it is just the whole thing. Reserve that judgment for when you see the game, you see how it looks, you see how it plays, and you see how everything comes together for it. And if it's still not for you, then you can voice your opinions and then you can give a valid criticism. But if you're not going to give the game a chance to show it in the actual spotlight for the game's actual stuff and judge it on its meat and potatoes and just judge a book by its cover, then that's an opinion that's unwarranted and unwanted. You can give your opinion. You can say that this is what I think it would be, but I don't know. Let's see what it comes out to be. But if you're telling everyone that's dog shit, and then you know that you're never gonna even gonna give it a chance, then you're part of that problem. But I guess that's just my own thought process. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think I've gone on long enough. I think I've given my personal opinion on all this. I think that the game industry needs to fucking cool it. They really do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all. Thank you guys so much, and thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you and hope everyone enjoyed. Yeah, I'm a little bit passionate about this. I know I am. But with games being $70 that were just remasters and reruns of games all like from a long damn time ago, and you're telling me that it's still $70, no, that's some bullshit too. I'm saying that shit does not need to act like this. There is no need. And that's why games are the way they are. Because they're putting hundreds of millions of dollars into it and now gonna sell games at $70 to $80 a pop because what? Because you put all that money into it that you gotta recoup your costs? How about this? Lower the damn budget and keep things a lot more simple. Shit. Look at Celeste. A very great game, and it was not $100 million worth. So that's just my thought process. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all and thank you guys so much. Down in the description down below is all of our lovely and beautiful content creators. Go check them all out. They're a lovely bunch of coconuts, and I can guarantee you that if you guys like my stuff, you guys are going to like theirs, so go check them out. And while you're at it, go ahead and go check out my personal channel where I do something like this every single day. There's no reason why you should not be clicking. But without further ado, appreciate you all. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.